able to read it, and even if we read it, this is complicated stuff. I mean, you need to read it, you need input from people, we need you, the citizens, to be able to hear, read, look at it yourselves before we vote on it. Or at least before the final product's out. I mean, that's what hearings are for, when you go through it, and you have time to change it before the final product's out.
Good morning, Mr. Herger. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the letter that you sent us that we support your reform plan, what you say. And I have a question for you, but I want to clarify. It was just said that people are not waiting in other countries. There's an excellent article, August 12, in the Wall Street Journal about the CEO of Whole Foods, the CEO of Whole Foods, and he wrote an article, and he gave these statistics from last month's Investors Business Daily. Although Canada has a population smaller than California, 830,000 Indians are currently waiting to be admitted to a hospital or to get treatment. And in England, the current waiting list is 1.8 million, according to Investors Business Daily last month. Anyway, let me give you my question. The current health care...
I'd like to get that article from you.
Oh, you can have it. It's excellent. It's very good.
No,
The Whole Foods Alternative to Obamacare, on the Wall Street Journal by John Mackey. Okay, the current health care bills in Congress are not in the best interest of Americans, and they are very objectionable. We should scrap these outrageous bills that will bankrupt our country. The biggest problem with health care today is that middle-income families cannot afford health insurance when they are hospitalized. The poor have Medi-Cal, and the rich can afford health insurance. Why can't Congress enact a simple, government-run, catastrophic health insurance program like Medicare Part A that pays hospital costs for all United States citizens? And I think the best way to pay for this hospital insurance is to have a national sales tax that would supplement the Medicare payroll tax that's already being collected. Everyone would benefit from this plan. And I think most Americans would be willing to make a small contribution to prevent families from going broke over hospital bills. Now, if you will write this bill, it could be called the Herger Hospital Health Care Act. Can you write such a bill?
thank you.
Mr. Herger.
Let me just, I think there's a number of things we need to be looking at. I'm looking at everything. There isn't any one magic bullet out there. And whatever we do, again, it needs to be talked about, and I do have an alternative legislation that we have that I'm supporting and that I want to add to. So we do have some alternatives out there, but what's important is that we need this debate going on. And that's what we're doing here today and throughout the nation. Yes.
Mr. Herger, profits at the 10 largest publicly traded health insurance companies rose 428% from 2000 to 2007. United Health Group had a net profit of over $3 billion in 2008. On an average, premiums have increased 87% in the last 6 years alone. Personally, my insurance just went up this month from $511 from $402, an increase of 27%. The healthcare insurers have had over 400 mergers in the last decade, creating virtual monopolies in some areas of the country. Since you do not support this bill that provides an alternative to the price gouging that we are all experiencing, what do you propose to do to rein in the healthcare insurance industry and encourage a more competitive environment?
I'll tell you the first thing I would do, and that's, you're right, we don't have enough competition with healthcare insurance companies. But I might look out, how does the rest of our society deal with people who are charging too much? Someone else opens up a business and sells it for less. But we have a problem in the United States in that, unlike automobile insurance, where you can compete in multiple states, healthcare insurance, you can only compete in that one state. So we have 50 different health care insurance, and then you end up not having insurance. One thing we can do is either regionally or state open up competition, because health care companies need more competition so that someone will come in and bid less than they and bring our costs down.
Herger, thank you so much for being here to answer our questions, and you are a brave man indeed. He is. My question, well, let me preface this. Healthcare has been a problem for at least the last 30 years. It's been brought to the national consciousness in 1992 with the Clinton administration. We're all aware of what's going on. Now, back in 92 or 93, when you first got the proposal from the Clinton administration, you had 7 weeks to look it over, make your comments, and it was turned down. It was not a lot of time. What Obama has given you a day is ridiculous also as well. But it's been 16 years since it's been brought to our attention that healthcare is a problem. And I just want to know, why are you dragging your feet? What's Congress going to do about this?
Well, when I'm wondering the same question you are, which is a very good question. We could talk about tax reform. There's a number of different areas that could fall into this same issue. Far and away, the most profound one today is health care. I like to think, to loosely paraphrase what Winston Churchill said, that a democracy is a terrible way to run a government, but it's still 10 times better than what's second best. We could be in Iran, we could be in China, but getting around specific, the more complicated and the more different sides you have with strong opinions like we have here today, the more difficult it is to get a majority plus one in the House and 60 votes, because anyone can filibuster, so therefore you need a filibuster proof in the Senate to pass something. The big difference, night and day difference between today and back in 1993 and 94 when we were hearing this last legislation, is that health care costs have been going up and up and up and up. And unlike then, this is not going to go away now. Now hopefully this proposal will go away, but the issue is not going to go away. And we're going to keep working on it until we get it right. And if we don't, as you know, all of us, including myself, are hired or fired every 2 years. We've had some of the biggest changes in the Congress in the last 2 elections that we've ever seen. And I believe we'll continue seeing that until Washington begins to get it straight.
Mr. Herger, I have my comprehensive health plan here. It's 64 pages, including the glossary. And my employer knows exactly what is covered, what isn't covered. I know what's covered. And as a member of the Ways and Means Committee, how do you know that you're going to be spending $1 trillion when there is absolutely no detail in this bill?
Well, at 9 o'clock in the morning, after getting the bill all of 2 hours before, we didn't know. The only thing we knew was what the Congressional Budget Office, CBO, which is nonpartisan, what they knew. Some of the information, we have 3 different committees with 3 different bills. We had the Senate that had a couple different bills going on. So they had already been looking at some of the different aspects. That morning that they came before us, they had some limited numbers. And those numbers at that time was $1.2 trillion. It was going to be the cost of the bill, increased cost. They had what they could see added taxes of $840 billion, and they had still a deficit of about $230 billion. That's what the CBO, nonpartisan, gave us as numbers the day that we had it. So that's what we knew then. We know more today, and what